feel like I'm okay. It's better. All right. How are we? Everybody okay? Good. First of all, thank you all for being out here. I know it's hot and it's a lot to stand here. I have a lot to say, but I'll try not to take too much of your time. In my country, when we speak about the Middle East, we often focus on conflict and suffering. And it's true that countless families in Iraq, Syria, Libya, Yemen are suffering from a conflict they personally have no part in, instability they cannot control, and extremism that they reject. But on this visit, I've been reminded, as I am every time I am here, of the truly extraordinary dignity, resilience, warmth, generosity, and grace of the people of the Middle East. And I want to thank the people of Iraq for their generosity towards Syrian refugees and displaced people, and in particular the KRI government, which is setting an example for refugee protection. I'm very happy to be here on Eid, and I wish the Iraqi people, the Syrian people, and families across the region Eid Mubarak. I'm in Iraq to mark World Refugee Day next week. On Tuesday, UNHCR will publish new figures showing the number of displaced people and the duration during exile. They are at the highest they have ever been. And at the same time, political solutions seem completely lacking, leaving a void that humanitarian aid cannot fill. Words like unsustainable really don't paint a picture of just how desperate this situation really is. This is my third visit to Domi's camp in 6 years. The vast majority of its inhabitants are women and children. Their lives are on hold indefinitely because of the war. They cannot go back, they cannot move forward, and each year they have less to live on. I met two mothers this morning, both of them widows. They both lost their husbands while living as refugees, both to medical conditions that could have been treated. And now they're both caring for young children who also have life-threatening medical conditions. When UNHCR's Syria response was only 50% funded last year, and this year it's only 17% funded, there are terrible human consequences. When there is not even the bare minimum of aid, refugee families cannot receive adequate medical treatment. Women and girls are left vulnerable to sexual violence. Many children cannot go to school, and we squander the opportunity of being able to invest in refugees so that they acquire new skills, so they can support their families themselves. This is a picture in Iraq and Syria and wherever in the world you find refugees and displaced people today. The only answer is to end the conflicts forcing people to flee their homes, and for all governments to meet their responsibilities. So this World Refugee Day, I hope that people around the world will consider the larger picture. What this level and length of displacement says about our world being dangerously out of balance. What it says about us if our response is to be selective about when we help and selective about when we are prepared to defend human rights. And what it means for the future if we are unable to provide even basic humanitarian support for displaced people and unable to find solutions to conflicts at the same time. That is the situation today. But it is not hopeless. There are millions of refugees and displaced people who want to return home and work and start over. I saw in Mosul yesterday where brick by brick, with their own hands, they are rebuilding their homes. There are countries that are keeping their borders open to refugees despite all pressures and challenges. There are aid relief workers who are stretching the aid resources somehow to minimize the loss of life and provide protection. And there are people around the world who are more committed than ever to defending human rights and basic values. So on World Refugee Day this year, I hope we can find the strength to find a better way forward together so that we can move into a new era of preventing conflict and reducing instability rather than simply struggling to deal with the consequences. Thank you very much. Eid Mubarak. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Angelina. Angelina needs to continue her program now, so if there are any questions, I'll stay behind to answer any questions you may have. I am the Deputy Representative from UNHCR. Thank you very much, Angelina.